Okay, welcome back. I am your guide, your humble guide, unfortunately for me, Nicholas. Good to see you again. I'm not going to go as much into every single thing that's been going on because I want to go to something that kind of underlies it. And I want to give you something that other people do not give you. Why? Because they don't know what I know. Does that make me feel special? Absolutely fucking not. I'd rather not be anything, anywhere near this nightmare, any part of this nightmare. I don't feel special. I don't feel blessed. It's all around fucked up situation I would have rather not lived through. I would have rather passed on, been from another generation that didn't have to see what's about to happen here. And we're already seeing a lot. So what underlies this? And again, this isn't me bringing it up. It's you fucking people bringing this up. And by you people, I mean the cult. I mean the Nazi movement. I mean the Satanist movement. Whether you realize you're part of it or not, that's irrelevant. Whether you're an automaton or not being used by something greater than yourself is fucking irrelevant. It's happening regardless. So I'm here to explain to you what's happening to you. So Leon posted this recently, I think. Leon did post this for certain, I know. And it's a picture of a Doge office with a MAGA hat on the counter. You know, a very contrived scene. I don't know if it's fucking AI generated. I don't know if it's his actual office or an actual Doge office. Who the fuck knows? That's not the point. What or exactly what this propaganda photo is. What caught my eye, because nothing else matters in this photo but one thing. And I don't know if you see it immediately. And I posted about this a couple days ago, and you people, if you're interested, I post all day, every day, in the post section of this website. So you know what I'm looking at, what's going on, and maybe you'll understand these videos a little more because I have to go quickly. I can't explain every detail like I used to be able to. My apologies. There's one thing in this photo that matters. Nothing else matters. Just like Metallica says. And that's this picture up on the wall. That right there. That gives the whole game away. Just like, you know, when the Freemasons use obelisks and pyramids and singular eyes, etc., as their symbols, it gives the game away, what they're into. But this isn't about the Freemasons. That's an example. This picture, what is it? Well, it's that old frog that we've been seeing since 2015, 14, whatever. I'm sure it was going around 4chan and all those places, 8chan, before any of us really ever saw it. I'm sure Putin and the white supremacist movement and all those people were circulating it in advance before we caught on as the rest of society, the non-sociopaths, the people that aren't interested in Nazism, eugenics, Satanism, authoritarianism, you know, normal, good, decent people. We didn't know about this until Donnie came along with his big movement. And a guy named Nicky saw all this playing out. And he says, wait a minute. The guy I used to work for is the AC? Is that what I'm seeing playing out before my eyes? Because nothing makes logical sense with this movement. What the fuck is this frog thing that makes the 666 hand sign? Whether you automatons know you're doing it, I don't care. whether you're being used by demons and spirits, I don't fucking care. You're still doing it, son. That's all that matters. You're still part of it. You're still promoting it. You still think it's cool. That's all that matters. Whether you're a robot or not, whether you realize the gravity of your actions or realize what they are at all, irrelevant to me, God, anyone. You're still just a fucking tool destined for the lake, lest you wake up, son, and turn the other way. Now back to the frog. Yes, so I see Donnie shitbags because I worked in one of his businesses years ago. I never talked to him. He would never talk to a peasant like me. Not unless there was a camera around. No, but I worked in one of his establishments years ago. And I had no idea he would one day be the AC. But imagine my surprise. Especially being from New York, New Jersey area, where we all knew Donnie was nothing but a daddy's boy, whiny little con man, laundering money for nefarious entities. So this Nicky guy, he's sitting there and he sees day after day this kind of cult thing developing around Donnie shitbags, who leaves his house in orange face every day and is not the smoothest, kindest or greatest of orators. Kind of just sounds like a third-rate mobster that was born rich, didn't even have to fight for it, didn't even have to work for it. So you got Donnie, who's tried to run for president since, I don't know, 1985. He's been talking about this. As you all parroted the talking point, he's not a politician. He's always been a politician since about 1985. He's been talking about running. So I see Donnie gaining popularity. He's run before. No one took him seriously. He was a fucking joke. Like he should be. All of a sudden, he's being taken seriously. All of a sudden, there seems to be this large group of people that like him. Little did we know, I don't know, about 70% of the praise, of the support, were bots and trolls from other countries, not even Americans. That were just hurting the rube American. We're not all rube Americans, but some of us are. So they herded the rubes, the Russians and others, the RNC. And this was part of it, a big part of it back then. They don't talk about it as much anymore because it didn't play well. It scared some people. So now they keep it like on the DL. And they don't do the hand signs all the time anymore that they thought were so funny and so cool. You know, the 666. Literally. I don't care if you think it means white power, son. You're just a fool who's attached himself to something Satan attached himself to decades and decades ago. So the hand signs aren't so cool no more. Because, you know, Alex used to talk about all that stuff, remember? And how evil it all was. Meanwhile, his buddy Cerno and all those people are doing it left and right. And they're making the unholiest of holies hand sign. The 666. But we'll get more into that. The frog. Pepe the Frog Beast. How is he dressed here? How is he presented? Well, as conquering Caesar. As military Caesar. With the armor beneath the robe. That's how Pepe the Frog is being presented here in Elon's office picture. So again, I'm not bringing this up, son. You people are. Leon is. In posts recently. So for Leon, this never died. And that movement that you people hoped went away or think went away, that never went away. They're in charge now. They just toned it down a bit. So I see this frog beast doing a 666. I see white women and men doing 666 at the White House. What the fuck is this? Then, you do a little research. Some other people do a little research, find out the lineage works. Uh-oh. Then you don't have to do no math or calculations. You see Jared and Donnie co-own a 666 Fifth Avenue. Meanwhile, they got the 666 hand sign all around their movement. You're going to see how much a part of the, Donnie, how much a part of the movement he was and still is. None of this went away, people. It's all still here, and now it's in charge. So Leon puts the picture of the frog beast in the Caesar uniform. I wonder who Leon sees as the frog beast or as the beast. Donnie or himself? I imagine he sees himself. I imagine Donnie sees himself. I wonder if this frog beast is supposed to be a specific human. I'm not sure. All I know is there are two beasts, and I'm certain of it. And that's Donnie and Leon. The beast and the false prophet. And the false prophet's putting this up. Pepe Caesar. Oh, and he's also doing this. Straight up Sieg Heil Nazi salutes. And before any jerk off said, oh, Hitler did it out front. He didn't do it out to the side. No, Hitler did it out to the side. Never out front like that, like you're about to say. And Leon did it sincerely. Remember that? Don't ever forget it, people. Whenever you try and give this entity the benefit of the doubt, or one of his trolls speaks here, or one of his bots, etc., remember this. That kind of gives the fucking game away, doesn't it? About what this man believes. Not to mention the Pepe Caesar and the MAGA hat on his desk. What does a Nazi believe? Rubes. Eugenics. Anyone undesirable gets killed. The lame, the sick, the elderly, gay, black, Spanish, whatever ethnicity is non-white, Jews, all of you gone. That's Nazi ideology at its core. Aryan supremacy in all areas. Suppression of any free speech. Mass extermination. Military rule over its own citizens. I really wonder, too, are they fucking with the FAA and the flights, not just because they fucked with Leon and tried to find him? Because once they really reveal what this is, a lot of you are probably going to try and leave, and they don't want you to be able to. That's what I'm thinking is about to happen at some point. Maybe that's why they don't want air travel working so great right now. Maybe that's why they're slowly dismantling it. Again, remember where this began, and this picture is becoming harder and harder to find. I guess Cerno doesn't want it up anymore. This was back in 2016 or 17, I can't remember, early in Donnie's first term. I was stunned to see whack-ass Cernovich get invited to the fucking White House. What a joke that is. Alex Jones or Cernovich or this woman, I believe her last name is Fairbanks or something. I'm not even sure. She's irrelevant. But remember, they were doing all these hand signs back then, 2015, 2016. Donnie gets in. Cerno gets invited to the White House. Look at them proudly putting that 666 up. And I don't care if these idiots think it means white power. All they are is pawns for Satan, and they're not even smart enough to know it. And if they do know it, well, then they definitely go into the league. If they know what that hand sign really means. Because I thought all you rubes, conspiracy theorists, right-wingers, you thought these hand sign things were very satanic and evil. Remember how you used to present that to all of us for like 40 fucking years as you grifted people on the internet? Do you remember that? I do. And the platforms were all too eager to take the Russian money, white supremacist money, etc. So this is where it began, remember? White power hand signs all over the place. 666 hand signs all over the place. Pepe the Frog all over the place. Mike Cernovich in the White House. He just got invited there again with Chaya Skank and a few other people for the big reveal on Epstein. Funny, they released it once. Some of it material they've already released. And they redacted shit they already released. They realized that was a flop. Now the headline is, 1,000 FBI agents are splicing it all apart. Why do we need 1,000 FBI agents after all these years to release this stuff? Oh, that's right. They're just stalling and lying to you again because Donnie's name's all over it. Again, don't ever forget this. I didn't forget it. I remembered this picture specifically and I went looking for it. And it ain't easy to find no more. It's only a few copies up. I'm sure Cerno will make sure those go away, or Leon will, or Donnie will. So that's Cernovich and this Fairbanks woman making the 666, which they think is the white power, or maybe they know who they're serving. I don't know. Maybe a lot of you people at the lower level here understand what you're doing. Then you'll understand perfectly when you have to go in the lake, right? You won't be crying or complaining about it, I'm sure. Right. More, I mean, they were selling all kind of Donnie Pepe renderings. I mean, they're all over the internet, even to this day. Doesn't Donnie look great there in Pepe green? And I noticed that sometimes Pepe will be rendered with the hand sign being done under the chin in a different way. But these are the ones that always stood out to me. Why does Pepe the Frog Beast make the 666 every 5 seconds? I thought all you conspiracy theorist people, you rubes, you right-wing country folk and non-country folk, I thought you thought all this hand sign stuff was very satanic. How come it's not satanic when Donnie's rendered as a frog beast making the 666? How does that work? What mental gymnastics do you do to get past that? I guess the same mental gymnastics you use after you see 97 pictures of Donnie and Epstein together and footage of them together, and you just sweep that aside. And keep looking for Bill Clinton's name, right? Right. That's what you do with this as well. But I'm here to tell you, for the millionth time, you're part of a satanic white supremacist Nazi movement. And they're not hiding it. Leon did the Nazi salute, not me. I didn't tell him to do it. I'm not lying about him doing it. He did it. So he's proud of it until the ketamine and ecstasy wears off. And he sees his stock price go down. Then he wants to try and convince you he didn't do it. And that's not what he meant. And Leon's the one putting up these frog beast pictures and then putting the photos out to the public so they can see it, you know, to give everybody the signal. And again, why is Donnie rendered as the frog beast making the 666? What's cool about that, Rubes? What's that about? There's more. I mean, these are just a few I grabbed off the internet. Why is Donnie being rendered as a beast? As Jesus or a religious overtone there. And then even worse, putting Pepe in place of Christ. Nah, not satanic at all, right, guys? I know, you go to church on Sunday and then you laugh about this stuff. I know. You have no clue what you're involved in. And if you do, that's even worse. If you know what you're involved in and you're doing it anyway, oh my God, forget about you. Your story's over. From the beginning, it was. So again, replacing him, putting him in place of Christ. He has risen. That's hilarious, right, guys? That's owning the libs, baby. And I found this one. Is this frog a hate symbol? Of course it fucking is. Give me a fucking break. It went hand in hand with a Nazi or white supremacist movement. Leon's still putting the fucking pictures up. So are a lot of you out there. It's just not being shoved in our face like it was because it didn't play well. It probably creeped a lot of people out, I assume. Oh, here's another one where he's literally making the 666. I saw these all day, 2015, 2016, and I got freaked the fuck out, son. I don't know how you didn't. And thought this was cool. Yeah, let me be part of the Pepe the Frog Beast people doing the 666 hand sign. That sounds really cool. Let me do that. Yeah, I don't know what anyone saw in this. And I don't know how more people didn't get creeped out by it and more people don't see the satanic nature of it. Even those of you that have the slightest bit of wisdom. Those of you that have studied this for years, even if you were all both feet in right-wing conspiracy land where they were just grifting the fuck out of you people, even you know there's something wrong with this, don't you? If you don't, you should. I don't care what Alex Jones told you. I don't care what right-wing religious person told you. Whatever. You should be able to see this. The Pope should have been able to see this. A lot of religious leaders should have. All the teachers should have been able to see this. I'm not an expert. I devoted 3-4 years to study. But that doesn't make me an expert. I saw it. Why didn't any of you, or why didn't any of you say anything? And a lot of you still are not saying anything. Dangerous territory, son. One more time. Totally normal, right? Totally logical. Not supernatural at all. And again, Leon's the one that put the picture up. That's the only reason I'm talking about it. He brought it up, son. Leon. And here's an interesting meme. Elon, you can't sit there. It's my presidency. I bought it. Exactly. And who could forget the great memories that our country will always get to share and the whole world got to witness. As Leon's little son told Donnie he's not the president and told Donnie to fuck off and get his shine box. And then he used Donnie as his babysitter. Aren't those great memories? Totally normal shit, right? Right. And here's a little scripture for you. What I'm contemplating. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. Now, I'll be honest with you. That great day of battle, the day of God Almighty, that's the end point, or an end point. It's where this all ends. And that's where this frog thing's being mentioned right before that end. But the funny thing about Revelation is it doesn't necessarily go in perfect chronological order. Because right in the middle of Revelation, they talk about the birth of Jesus and stuff. That's not chronology. But again, to God, time is all now. Past, present, and future are now. Not thousands of years, not millions of years, now. So if you were dead from the beginning. Even though you're walking and breathing right now, in God's eyes, you're still dead, son. So again, this spirit of frogs thing that comes out of all three of their mouths, that would be Donnie, Leon, and Satan himself, that I don't think takes a body in this story, at least in this part of it. They're the ones with the spirit of the frog coming out, whatever that means. Spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, beast, false prophet. Okay, frogs, you say. And this is an old version of, this is a King James version. So again, back in 2015, Donnie all of a sudden got a following. Donnie all of a sudden has all this positivity around him. Donnie's rising. And what is he rising with? A white supremacist movement that's represented by a frog beast who makes the 666 hand sign, whose foot soldiers like Cernovich and Fairbanks or whatever the fuck her name is, they'll stand up in public and make that hand sign to let everybody know they're down with the cause. You had George Santos, a man with a Spanish last name, on the floor of Congress making that hand sign. But, there have always been traitors all throughout history, people that are willing to sell out their own people even. And Mr. Santos would have went down in Nazi Germany for two reasons. One being gay, two being of Latin descent and not pure Aryan. That's what all of you don't understand, all of you that are betraying your race. That crazy Miss Gomez, who just put a picture of herself shooting a dummy in the back of the head. That's the exact lust for murder I've mentioned regarding so many of you rubes. If you're doing shit like that, you're taking pictures of yourself shooting dummies as if they were human. You have a problem and you need to reevaluate your entire existence on this planet. Miss Gomez is a perfect example of that. What's her name? Valentina Gomez, something like that? Shooting a bound and gagged dummy in the back of the head as if it were an illegal immigrant or an immigrant. Does Miss Gomez understand what the Nazi regime would have done to her? Apparently not. She just wants the money and power. And Leon's taken a liking to her, so, maybe she'll be the next baby mom or something. So, again, you see this scripture, spirits like frogs came out of the mouth, and this spirit gathers everyone to the battle. Well, who's to say when that process starts? I'm not saying the Pepe stuff is this spirit of frogs, but it sure looks like it. Because this was the origin of the movement that will have all of you people gather anywhere he wants you to gather. So I find it interesting. And back when this was going on, back in 2015, 2016, I did not have this piece of scripture in mind. I just kind of rediscovered it. Because I was blown away by the whole thing, and I was involved with other people researching the history of this man as far as his ancestry, going back hundreds of years, to make sure he qualifies. So there was a lot of investigative stuff going on back then, and I didn't have full grasp of it all, and I wasn't certain. of who he was, but it sure looked right. Again, you're talking about spirits like frogs that come out of all three of their mouths. Well, Leon just posted it. Donnie's been talking about it and represented as it for years. And of course, it's of Satan. So they all speak in it, they all personify in it. So this movement with Donnie, complete with 666 hand signs, 666 Fifth Avenue, and a frog beast, literally. Not a dragon, not a lizard, a frog. And then I kind of, discovered this piece of scripture later on as I was brushing up on the story. Since it appears, oh, that's what I was about to say. When I became certain, the assassination attempt against Donnie, I watched it again today. He says fight 3 times. That's tribute to his master. And he's not saying fight. He's saying 6. 6. 6. That's what he's saying. And he's paying tribute. And that's what I realized when I watched it again after all this time. But when it first happened, when I first saw the first video clip of it before the election, when it took place, I knew exactly what I was looking at. And it scared the shit out of me. And Donnie never looked so animated in his life. And the reason it scared the shit out of me is because that's when I became certain. I didn't want to become certain. I was hoping I was wrong. When he lost the election, I was like, great. Then he tried to overthrow the government. Then he stole 3,000 classified documents. Then he never went away. Then he got back in. Which is exactly what's supposed to happen in the story. So yeah, when I watched it again today, the assassination attempt, I was, now I'm 100%, 1,000% certain. I was already 100% certain. And again, you got this piece of scripture talking about end times, a spirit of frogs. Very obvious frog thing going on with this whole movement. And it seemed this movement's very capable of taking a lot of people and making them gather somewhere. But let's continue. This is a comment from a person in Ukraine. Americans thought it was super fun watching brown-skinned people get loaded into planes and sent to brutal foreign prison complexes. Now it'll be those that criticize Trump's cronies, and MAGA will still cheer. Just wait. This is someone in Ukraine saying this, not an American. That's what they're seeing from the outside. And the reason they're saying this is because of Donald's proclamation here. I look forward to watching the sick terrorist thugs get 20-year jail sentences for what they are doing to Elon Musk and Tesla. Perhaps they could serve them in the prisons of El Salvador, which have become so recently famous for such lovely conditions. So let me get this straight. We don't put cops at schools to protect children, but we'll put them at Tesla dealerships. We'll make people that vandalize Teslas and Tesla dealerships, we'll call them terrorists. But we don't do that with a school shooter. And we don't put 20-year automatic jail sentences on it. Sometimes the cops will just stand there and let it happen too. Anyway, the El Salvador part, here we go again. Now someone that vandalizes a Tesla or a dealership, we're going to ship you to El Salvador now? No due process, no court. Just Donnie says 20 years in jail in El Salvador. Do you realize how dangerous this is? Have we ever heard talk like this from anyone? Have we ever seen a country say, like El Salvador, my God, how evil are those fucks? Don't worry, Donnie, anyone you want to send down, and we'll take the money too for housing them and getting them out of your hair permanently. In other words, your tax money is paying the country of El Salvador. So one day, maybe you end up on a plane, shipped down there, and your money would have paid for it. Isn't that great? And some of you voted for it. Remember that when you're on the plane to El Salvador, that you voted for this. Because that's what Donnie wants to do with anyone that he feels is undesirable for whatever reason. So for hurting a Tesla dealership or hurting a Tesla, Donnie wants you to get a 20-year jail sentence and then ship you to El Salvador, or maybe you do your sentence down there. Of course, you'll last about 5 minutes before you get shivved. That's where we're at, people. President of the United States talking about people that vandalize car dealerships or cars being shipped to El Salvador and getting 20-year prison sentences. What about the January 6th people, guys? Were they terrorists? Did they all deserve 20-year sentences? Did they deserve to get shipped to El Salvador? I bet you'll say no. But I guarantee you'll also say, oh, well, if someone hurts a Tesla or a Tesla dealership, no problem. Right? That's your existence? Of course it is. This is a reporter who covered January 6th and many other things. They're elderly and they survive on Social Security. So it's a very important issue for them. You guys have no idea how serious it is. They're shutting down everything pediatric cancer research and Alzheimer's research. My cousin is a gene slicer for decades. It's the medium all researchers use to make vaccines. Everything is shut down. They're trying to kill us all like he did during COVID. I always knew because I was at CPAC last year. Every single person he's put into head an agency was hired to destroy it and us. Putin payback. They are spot on. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? You don't know the beast. You don't know Satan. This is child's play, what's going on right now, compared to what will be going on. And they're right. Who in their right mind would want RFK Jr. in charge of health anything? Who in their right mind would want him in government? He's insane. That's one example. Yes, those people are in the agencies to destroy them. Donnie's there to destroy us. Chaos, division, war, and worship, I told you. That's what it is. It's hatred for everyone and everything. That's what Satan is. Donnie is Satan's boy. Leon is Satan's other boy. Not the slightest exaggeration in that statement. You'll learn in time. All failing empires default to human sacrifice. They are coming for all of us. Yes. That's what Satan is. He hates every one of you. Even Donnie and Leon. That's the root of all this. And yes, it's coming for all of us in different ways, shapes, and forms. But, at the very end, the real wrath is coming for the rubes, the cult, the ones that say, okay, Donnie, I'll take the mark. I'll use your fight 666 coin. Because I got to buy eggs, man. I know it's a hard thing to accept, you humans out here, that this life is abject, fleeting, and worthless. Did Christ plant any roots in this place? Not one. Didn't get married, didn't have kids, didn't buy a house, didn't start a business. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's not an easy thing to accept. It's very hard, actually. So I know pretty much every other human besides me will see it as wisdom because they managed to get a house and a car, or 2 cars, or 3 houses, or how good their financial stability is. That is worth every sacrifice. Even your character, morals, etc. No matter what. As long as you're successful, you are wise, right? That's what you think. If you think that, you are dead motherfucking wrong. Success will be measured in many other ways, but not that one. Whether you have a house, don't have a house. Whether you have $3 billion or negative $300. None of that matters. All your roots you planted don't matter. And they really don't matter to these people. So when you get to that moment and you weigh it all out and you say, well, how am I going to participate in society? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Know that what you'll face when you make that decision not to take it, not to participate, as hard as it is, will not be anywhere near as hard as what the people who do participate face. That's deadly fucking serious what I'm saying right there. Whatever horrors you face by saying no, as horrible as they are, will be nothing in comparison to the horrors you will face if you say yes. That's simple. No matter how you measure wisdom, success, whatever the fuck word you want to use. 'Cause I know everyone out there thinks they're the smart one. I know. I can tell by what you say. So I'm telling you how it really is, whether you understand it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not, or whether you want to. So when it comes to that moment, make the right choice. And you'll know what moment I'm talking about when it comes. I wish I could tell you exactly when it's going to come, but it's getting close, man. All the pieces are there. They're just waiting for that right moment to push it all over the edge and reveal what they are and who they are. They've already pretty much done that to those of us that have or have sought wisdom. This is another comment. Absolutely. Patrushev said Trump owed a quid pro quo for them helping him win the election. It's to destroy as many government agencies as he can, destroy America without firing a single shot. Trump, his colleagues, cabinet, and every MAGA is responsible for all of this. Well said. Very true. In other words, if we're just talking about the low-level rubes, you are responsible for the loss of your children's future. You. That's simple. But these three comments were about agencies and what they're about to, and what, all the things they're cutting. And back to this human sacrifice comment. All failing empires default to human sacrifice. Well, what did Nazi Germany do? They still hadn't even recovered from World War I. Human sacrifice. That's what they did. Eugenics. So that guy's very right. And I've never heard that statement made before. Interesting. So yes, they're trying to destroy as many government agencies as they can. They are looting the place. They are dismantling the place. And it's obviously a Nazi-style regime. They want to run with authoritarianism. Billionaires just want to keep all the money and leave nothing for the rest of us, even though Leon, for example, has like $300 billion. He still wants you to have less and him to have more. And again, if you're doubting it's a Nazi movement, son, I'm sorry. I'm not the one that threw up the Sieg Heil and gave the whole game away. Because I got too gacked up on Special K and ecstasy. That wasn't me, son. That was your hero, Leon. Don't blame me for calling it a Nazi movement. Leon's the one that modeled the Cybertruck after a Panzer tank. Oh, Mr. Lutkin, this guy's great. He did a little interview the other day. I think he's worth $1.5 billion, something like that. This fucking cretin destined for the lake. Trump Commerce Secretary to seniors on Social Security, don't complain if your checks don't come. Now, he didn't say it that way. What he basically said was, if my mother-in-law didn't get her Social Security check 1 month, she wouldn't even complain. Because, it's the fraudsters that complain. They're the ones that, whoever complains the loudest is the biggest fraud. Well, by that logic, you cunts that use that, throw that phrase out there and parrot it like good parrots. If that's the truth, if that's the logic we're supposed to run with, because, this guy has $1.5 billion, so he must be wise, he's successful, we must listen to him, right? He must know something, right? No, he doesn't know jack shit, except how to hoard wealth. He's a piece of shit destined for the lake. He's nothing. He's shit on the bottom of your shoe. Totally. Why? Because he's sitting there trying to justify the government stealing your fucking Social Security check. That's why. And said if you call and complain about it, and if you're really loud about it, that means you're a fraudster. So again, by that logic, the two most whining bitches I've ever seen, I'm almost 50 years old, my almost 50 years on this planet, Donnie and Leon, I've never seen two whinier bitches than them. They post about 90,000 times a day, crying about something. Every single word of it is in tribute to Satan and in tribute to their bank account, hoping to make it bigger. Every second of it, and they don't care who gets killed in the process. Mr. Lutnick's sitting here trying to put the idea forth because you people, I guess a lot of you are stupid enough to fucking run with it and repeat it. That, if Granny don't get her check, she shouldn't even complain. Fuck her. She ain't even gonna care. The ones that actually care that don't get their check, they're frauds. Just setting the stage for you to not get your Social Security check. I'm not on Social Security. It won't affect me, son. And how many of you fucking idiots on Social Security voted for this monstrosity that's coming for your money? And they talked about it before the election. I know. Racism's a hell of a drug. I know. I know why you do it. Despite the reasons you throw out there. I couldn't believe this when I saw it. They're at the point in the GOP or the MAGA cult or the Satanist Nazi movement. They're at the point where they're trying to make you think not getting your Social Security check 1 month is a good fucking thing. And if you complain about it, you're a fraud. Because this billionaire's mother-in-law wouldn't complain about it. Again, Rubes, what have you fucking done? To yourselves. Because I know it was a lot of you geriatrics on Social Security that voted for this. He's coming for your shit. But you were warned for 8 years. You knew better. You're 74, you're 80, whatever. You've been alive a long time. You know better, right? That means you're wise, right? No, you're a fucking child idiot. I don't care if you're 90 fucking 3. If you voted for this. They told you they were coming for your shit. They've been telling you since Nixon. They're coming for your Social Security. And you keep voting that way. And you voted evil for 40, 50 years. And then the maximum expression of all that evil you voted for came along in the form of Leon and Donnie. And you did it again because you thought you'd just get away with it again. Well, this time you don't get away with it. Now the bill is fucking due. And there ain't no avoiding it for any of us, especially you people. And here we have the Commerce Secretary literally telling you, you might not get your check 1 month. And you know what? My mother-in-law wouldn't even complain. So if you complain, you're a fucking fraud. You're cool with that, right? Here's an old quote by Leon from 2023 in May. I'll say what I want, and if the consequences of that is losing money, so be it. It went from that to this most recently. Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything harmful. I've never done anything harmful. I've only done productive things. I think we have a deranged mental illness thing going on here because this doesn't make any sense. Well, wait a minute. Leon said this before. I'll say what I want, and if the consequences of that is losing money, so be it. Then it went to this. I wonder why. Yeah, because, firing a few million people, that's not harmful at all. Making them also worried every night when they go to sleep that their job's not going to be there in the morning because some worthless waste of oxygen, fat South African Nazi Satanist oligarch says so. Oh, Leon, you've got a first-class reservation at the lake. You and Donnie, you're going to be at the head of the wagon. Guaranteed. No getting out of it. One of the reasons, Leon, is all the people going to bed tonight thinking about you firing them. Pat yourself on the back, Leon. You're going to be one of the first ones in. And you were mentioned specifically. And so is Donnie. Isn't that great? You guys always wanted to be first in line, right? You're going to be the guests of honor. It's going to be beautiful, and it's already happened. Because remember, past, present, and future all are one. All at once. We're already there, Leon. We're already there, minions. As you sit here and debate like a fucking fool or troll or whatever the fuck you're doing. We're already at the lake. As you're wasting your fucking time. I know you don't understand that concept either. Don't worry, you will. You will. Oh, yeah, this is Donnie ruining the whole U.S. Defense contractor or defense weapons manufacturing industry in America with one statement. Here he is doing it right here. It's beautiful. Because, every European country and Canada is already like, we need to cancel these fucking F-35 contracts because they got a button they can just shut the plane off or they'll just stop selling us parts. And America's the enemy now. They're making that quite clear that they're on Vlad's team. And it's going to be pure thuggery and evil from this point forward, and pure Nazism and authoritarianism. So we can't buy from American weapons contractors anymore or weapons manufacturers anymore. We got to buy our own shit. And we got to make our own shit. Because we can't trust Donnie. And then Donnie goes and says this, as motherfuckers have already canceled their orders for F-35s. Donnie goes and says this. We'll sell our allies toned-down military planes because someday maybe they're not our allies. Again, remember the context, because context is key. Canada, France, other European nations are saying, yeah, maybe we shouldn't buy those F-35s because we can't trust America anymore. And we can't have our planes being useless because America's run by Nazi Satanists. That wouldn't work for us. So they're already canceling orders, and Europe and Canada are already looking elsewhere for weapons from this point forward. Then Donnie talks about a new plane called the F-47 or whatever the fuck. Probably never ever get built anyway. That your money's going to pay for, by the way, rubes. A new worthless, useless plane. Because no one wants to buy American anymore as far as nukes and planes and tanks. Because we can't trust American companies and we can't trust Donnie. Then Donnie says, yeah, we're probably going to sell to foreigners if they buy the plane. It'll be a toned down version. A day later or hours later, you had the makers, I think it was Lockheed, and you had all the different accounts involved with the F-35-2 Lightning, whatever the fuck it is, promising that there's not a button that can shut the plane down or whatever, because they were horrified when Donnie said this, and that Europeans and Canadians are canceling contracts with American weapons manufacturers. And then Donnie just pours this grease right on the fire. Donnie to the rescue. So you've got the makers of the plane putting desperate panic tweets out like, please still buy our shit. Any Canadian province, country, any European country that buys another American weapon, you're just a fucking idiot at this point. Business with America would be over for me in a major way if I were a leader of a country right now. There's other people out there you can buy from. And I hate saying that about my own country. But, Donnie deserves it. And again, this is all going to World War III anyway, people. I don't know if you know that yet. It's all going to such a horrible place. None of this shit fucking matters. About planes and shit like that. I'll tell you what, though, Europe and Canada better get on it. They better get their equipment right. They better get their new shit. And they better get it from the right companies. And they better do it now. Because the annexation talk and all that, again, the last two people I remember talking annexation, Vlad Putin, who's attacked several of his neighbors over the years, and Adolf Hitler. So you see where annexation talk is going, right? You see where Pepe the Frog is going, right? You see where the 666 hand sign is going. Again, this isn't, you don't just get to vote evil again and get away with it this time. This time, there's a price for you specifically. You'll determine how much of a price that is. Whether it just costs you misery for a while, whether it costs you your eternal soul, everything. Your children's future and your country's already gone. How much more it costs you? Well, that's up to you. So yeah, Donnie's doing a great ad for American weapons manufacturers right here, saying that they're going to sell toned down planes to any foreigners that buy them. Trump and Republicans have awakened a sleeping giant and they will regret it. Republican town hall chant, tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. Yeah, quickly, the Republican town halls are a hellscape. And no, Antifa isn't being bussed in, Rubes. And no, it's not FBI agents. And no, it's not liberal activists. I'm sorry. It's pissed off rubes that realize and see the writing on the wall. Some pissed off rubes that have been fired already. It's going to get a million times worse, rubes. I'm sorry to break it to you. Again, I'm sorry. You don't just get to vote evil again or put your name on evil and walk away unscathed. Again, when I'm seeing a military veteran in a Republican town hall being thrown out and another veteran yelling, he has the right to speak, well, that should wake a lot of you guys up, right? Because they didn't look like Democrats to me. Yes, the Republican town halls are absolute fucking nightmares because everyone, even the hardcore rubes, can see the writing on the fucking wall. Even the ones that are still trying to talk this up online, even they scared. I know none of you understand. Here, real simple what it is. It's a Satanist Nazi movement described in the book of Revelation. That's what you're living through. That's why none of it makes sense. Logically. Sorry to break it to you. That's what you're living in right now. And it's going to get a lot worse. The Tate brothers left before any indictments dropped in America. They went back to Romania. Here's a picture of that. Yay. I guess the trip to America, they weren't embraced the way they thought they'd be. And they do have a court date to get back to, for sex trafficking and shit. Anyway, this is Tim Waltz in an interview. I think we have to assume the very worst in everything this administration does, and we need to prepare for it. Yes, and yes. Always assume the worst. These people are beyond evil, what you cannot believe. I know you've heard that said before about other people. This time, it's fucking real. And yes, you need to prepare for it. Always assume the worst with these people. They're disgusting. Complete with Nazi salutes, El Salvadoran death camps. And celebrating the elimination of the Department of Education. That's what the richest man in the world posted with a picture of Donnie at the gravesite. Boasting. Boasting of the elimination of the Department of Education. That's a real victory, right, Rubes? Of course you would think so, wouldn't you? But the rest of us here in real America, we know what this is. This is a literal portent and sign of the downfall of our nation. Like Rome in decline and shit. That's what this is. This joke. Celebrating the dumbing down of America. Only the rube would celebrate this. Only the Satanist Nazi that wants to dismantle everything and control the world would celebrate this. You fucking idiots. Total, just straight up indicator. It is over. We are in serious decline. And what have I been saying for years? By the end of this, everyone will be crying. Even the hardest core rube. And boy, more and more of you crying every day. This, Colin Powell. Now, Pete Hegseth has walked this all back since the backlash that's been happening during the last week. All of a sudden, stuff has been put back up magically. What I have learned is some information about Colin Powell has already been taken down. Not all of it, some of it. Some things were totally, completely taken down about certain individuals off these military and Arlington websites. But Pete, again, came out and said, oh, no, we didn't take anything about anyone down. No, they took all kinds of shit down. But they left a short biography about Colin Powell. But here's the point. Let me show you this other picture if I have it quickly. B. Arthur was taken down off of one of these websites. She was in the military. I did not know that about her. Never knew she looked like that once either. So stuff about her was taken down. And the point I'm trying to make with this, showing you Colin Powell, showing you B. Arthur, is they're showing you, and they've been showing you for decades, you just refuse to see it. Or you're getting something out of it. You were never welcome in the Republican Party, and you sure as fuck weren't welcome in MAGA, this white supremacist version of the Republican Party. People like Colin Powell, people like B. Arthur, gay people, blacks, Jews, etc. What information are they taking down off of all these websites? What targets, or excuse me, what philosophies and groups are they targeting? Well, let's name them in general terms. Anything about blacks they want to take down. Anything about women they want to take down. Anything about Latinos they want to take down. Anything about gays. Anyone that's not white Aryan. Women. None of you were ever welcome in that party. Do you understand me? None of you are welcome in the MAGA thing, especially. I don't care what they're saying to you now. You saw the Nazi salute, right? You know who the Nazis hated, right? To Donnie and Leon, that's a religion. Nazism and Satanism. So who are they coming after in the future? Women, blacks, Jews, all the Holocaust information stuff they took down. Holocaust Remembrance Day was told not to be observed anymore. Yet you've got Jews working with fucking Donnie and Leon as they're putting proclamations out for their people in government not to observe Holocaust remembrance. Why? Because they're fucking Nazis! So you have Jews working with Nazis, literally. Nazis that aren't hiding their intentions. One of them did a Nazi salute in front of the whole fucking world. Both of them putting directives out to remove anything that mentions Jews, blacks, women, etc. on government websites. Telling the military they can't observe Holocaust remembrance and shit like that. What does that tell you about the future? Well, they going after some Jews, ain't they? Despite their little friendship with Netanyahu. Notice how Donnie really wants the Jewish community and Israel to think he's their guy. Going after anyone that criticizes Israel viciously. You know what the purpose of that is? Confidence by Israelis in Donnie. That's what Donnie needs. Because that didn't go away either. Let's get to it, actually. This is Israel's defense minister the other day Residents of Gaza, this is your final warning. The first Sinwar destroyed Gaza. The second Sinwar will bring upon it total ruin. The Israeli Air Force's attack against Hamas terrorists was only the first step. What follows will be far harsher, and you will bear the full cost. Evacuation of the population from combat zones will soon resume. Evacuation of the population. If all Israeli hostages are not released and Hamas is not kicked out of Gaza, Israel will act with force you have not known before. They go in balls out because now they got Donnie as a backer. You had Biden and Kamala that did care about you at least and tried to rein some of this in. Donnie just said, do whatever you want. That's what you made happen. You made your cause dead. It's over. They're going to remove the Palestinians. They're going to build Donnie's little resort. It's over. Forget about it. How are you going to stop them? You're not. Anyway, take the advice of the U.S. president, return the hostages, and kick out Hamas, and new options will open up for you. Here's the new options, including relocation to other parts of the world for those who choose. The alternative is destruction and total devastation. Well, he mentions that twice. Evacuation of the population from combat zones will soon resume. We know what that means. Including relocation to other parts of the world for those who choose. Those are the two money shots, if you will, in the statement. That's why the statement was put out there. They want to get us used to this idea and give it the cover of military action. Clearing out Gaza, that's what I mean. There's a reason it was said twice in this statement. That's the point of the statement. That's the moral of the incident. That's the point of this exercise. Remove the people from Gaza so we can build the resort, put the Donnie statues up, and then we get to build the temple. Because what the fuck are they going to do about it? That agenda did not go away either, just like the white supremacy agenda did not go away. Guess what's part of the white supremacy agenda? Jew hating. Despite the friendship between Netanyahu and the right-wing Jews and Donnie shitbags. When people post this, and I've seen this posted a bunch of times, they don't realize how close to the truth they are. The literal truth. As crazy as it fucking sounds. And what you have is Donald is war, Rubio is famine, RFK Jr. is plague, and Leon is death. I don't know if I agree with these assessments because Leon and Donnie are the beast and the false prophet, the four horsemen. Maybe there's something else. Or maybe two of the horsemen are the beast and the false prophet. There's no way to really know that. What I do know is Donnie and Leon are the beast and the false prophet. RFK and Rubio, they're minor, insignificant nothings to me. They're not even major players, in my opinion. RFK's brain dead pretty much. He's just useless. So I don't know if the two middle ones, the famine and plague, are actually that. I don't think they are. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe two of the horsemen are, again, the two beasts. Who the fuck knows how to perfectly interpret this shit? All I know is whether they're two of the horsemen or not is irrelevant to me. I know they're the beast and the false prophet. That's what matters to me, and that's what worries me. Because that tells me where it's going. Not a good place. Oh, and something else to lend a little more credence to what I've been saying. The SpaceX vehicle that went and saved the astronauts, picked up the astronauts. It's called the Dragon. Did you know that? Several articles called it Dragon Freedom. Isn't that interesting? Those of you, again, that have sought wisdom, I think you know what I'm saying. Leon, the Baphomet costume guy, the Nazi salute guy, the Pepe the Frog Beast Caesar guy, names his SpaceX vehicle during this time the Dragon. Now, I know this thing was named a while back, but this is where it really gained notoriety. So it doesn't matter when he named it. He was a Satan worshiper then too. He didn't just change overnight. He's always been this, a Nazi, a Satanist, etc. He didn't change. He was just putting on a different facade before, that's all. So I just found it interesting that not only is the craft named the Dragon, Leon, again, Donnie's the beast, Leon's a false prophet, the spaceship is the Dragon. The evil trinity is supposed to be the Dragon, the false prophet, and the beast. Not that the spaceship is an entity or anything. I'm just saying it's just funny he named it the Dragon, the other part of the threesome. And again, Dragon Freedom. Some articles called it Dragon Freedom up there at the top. And I know what Leon means by Dragon Freedom. So do you, those of you that have sought wisdom, I'm sure. Because I don't know if you've looked around lately, it's almost as if the dragon is free, isn't it? It's going to seem more and more like that, too, as we go on. Unfortunately. This is another one. SpaceX Dragon. They didn't call it Dragon Freedom here. I don't see that. But when I saw Dragon Freedom, I was like, really, Leon? Really? As if they were freeing the dragon. Oh, remember Leon's prior comment about he's never harmed anyone. He doesn't cause harm. He doesn't incite harm. He's just a soft little peaceful Buddhist snowflake. Leon once posted, this is from March 19th or March 25th, 19, I can't tell, or March 19, 25, I can't tell here. I don't know, looks, okay, 23 and 24 were these comments, my bad. Civil war is inevitable. And this person said, you don't get to say stuff like this and then play the victim when shit actually hits the fan. Yes, you have the richest man in the world who owns a huge website saying civil war is inevitable. And that was in 24, 8/3/24 was the civil war is inevitable comment. I believe he did own Twitter at that time. And then in 23, he said civil war is brewing. So again, here's a guy trying to start a race war or a civil war in this country. He tries to incite violence in a whole bunch of other countries. And then when his factories are being, or excuse me, when his showrooms are being vandalized and his cars are being vandalized, I'm just a harmless little snowflake that's never done anything. Yet he's trying to incite civil war. You don't put statements like that out, especially when you're a person of influence. You don't put statements out like civil war is brewing. No, World War fucking III is brewing. And the thing about the Civil War is fat fucks, fat, worthless, snowflake, pasty fucks like Leon would never be in that fight. Just like Donnie didn't walk with his people down to the Capitol that day. Even though you got fake stories like he attacked a Secret Service agent and all that. Because he really wanted to be in the fight. Just like he wanted to be in Nam, right? But those darn heel spurs, right, people? No, he didn't want to be anywhere near that. He wanted you idiots to do his dirty work, and boy, did you. And Leon wants you to do his dirty work, you idiots at the bottom, because fat-ass Leon would never be in harm's way, son. There's a reason he has his child on his shoulders all the time. Because of the type of man he is. And he would never be on the front lines. Yet his fat, pasty ass has no problem getting you rubes all riled up by putting civil war is brewing and civil war is inevitable out there. Dangerous talk from the richest man alive with a whole website full of bot followers. Real dangerous. Oh, this wasn't dystopian at all. Donnie eliminating the Department of Education with fake students behind him. One of them had a yarmulke on, too, because, you know, got to let the Jews know I'm on your side right before he betrays them all. Because that's where it's going. So yes, Trump set up a fake classroom to sign his executive order to begin closing the Department of Education, celebrating the dumbing down of America, the Nazification of America, the ushering in of authoritarian rule into America, ushering that in or celebrating it with the little children's around. Not dystopian at all, right, guys? Oh, here's another kind of shot of it. Oh, this was good too. Elon Musk's dad touts friendships with black servants to show his son isn't racist. Right. I believe Leon's dad did an interview or something, and they asked him about racism in South Africa and is Leon a Nazi and a racist? And Leon's dad basically said, well, Leon and some of his friends were friends with some of the black servants we had in South Africa, so he can't be racist. And here's Leon in a Fox News interview talking about the vandalism against Teslas. And this is why Leon's place in the lake is utterly secure, by the way. I think there are larger forces at work, like Ukraine or something, blaming Ukraine. He did this several times for the vandalism against Tesla, the cars, and the dealerships. Again, whenever you're sad about your life or you're depressed, I want you to think of this, because I do sometimes. You could be Ukrainian. You could be sleeping in a trench tonight, waiting for some $3 inmate that was let out by Vlad with 3 bullets and an old shotgun to come kill you. In other words, you could be freezing your nuts off in a trench, waiting for some, again, $2 Russian soldier coming to kill you. And that wants to rape, torture, and murder your whole village. That could be your existence instead of this, whatever you got going on that you think is so horrible. That's the people Leon is demonizing. That's why his place in the lake is utterly fucking 100% secure. That those people laying in that fucking trench and those people getting raped, tortured, and murdered and occupied, they have to tolerate this as well. The richest, fattest man on earth saying that they're responsible for the vandalism against him and the sentiment against him. I can't really describe how evil that is, and if you can't see it, then I pity you. Because that's real, man. Those people are dying. They're fighting for their lives over there. And for Leon, it's just a PR stunt to just try and blame vandalism, to demonize the Ukrainians a little more. Just another bitch that went to the Russian mob for money. Just another worthless waste of oxygen that's given society absolutely fucking nothing. In fact, leached more welfare from American taxpayers than, I don't know, anyone in history, and is still doing it. Pure, complete leech and parasite, as he tells all of us that you don't deserve your jobs or you're inferior compared to H-1B visa Indian workers and engineers, etc. Blames the vandalism and hatred towards him because he's an abject scumbag on Ukrainians. It couldn't just be that Leon's a completely socially awkward, inhuman douchebag that thinks he deserves to be Caesar, that thinks he's talented in any way. I mean, in any way. That he deserves praise for anything. It's a complete and total waste of oxygen. Nothing redeeming whatsoever. Him and Donnie. I mean, it's embarrassing as a human watching them pretend to try and be human. I get embarrassed. And I'm sorry, again, when you want to give these people the benefit of the doubt, I want you to think of the level of evil being put forth, being personified, blaming dying Ukrainians for or saying that they're the reason people hate him, or hate his cars, or hate his showrooms. I can't express the level of evil that is. Never give them the benefit of the doubt. They know exactly what they're doing. And they're doing it for a purpose. And again, their place in the lake is so utterly secure with shit like this. And the millions of people going to bed tonight wondering if their job's going to be there tomorrow, Leon. That's another reason you're going to get front row action. Just like you like. Back to this again. Quickly. The new Donnie coin. And again, I watched the assassination attempt again today, and never was he more animated that I've ever seen him. And he said, fight 3 times. He said 6, 6, 6. That's what the fight represents. Why? Because I looked at this coin a week or 2 ago, and I asked myself, where's the 666 on this? Because you're on the camera every day saying this is the apocalypse, and this is the beast, and the mark, and all that good stuff, that fun stuff. So where's it at on here? Because they can't just write 666 on it. That'd be a bit obvious, wouldn't it? Fight, fight, fight. 3 iterations again. F is the 6th letter of the alphabet. Then you got that G in the middle that looks like a 6. So you got 666 coming down that way, if you want to look at it that way. The question I asked myself, though, as the revelator, John, saw this over 1,000 years ago, how would he have recognized the 666? It wouldn't have been in English. It would have had to have been in his own language. Otherwise, he wouldn't have recognized it. Again, this is being revealed by God or Jesus Christ. So I'm sure they were capable of revealing it in his own language. Otherwise, it would have made no sense to him, right? He wouldn't have been able to write any of the story. So I looked at it and I thought to myself, again, quickly, I said it can't be this easy, right? Because I don't know the alphabet numerically. I don't know what F represents, or G or T numerically. Why would I know that? So I said it can't be this simple, right? F won't be the 6th letter of the alphabet. I counted it off on my fingers like like an idiot. A, B, C, D, E, F. And then I looked at the G in the middle while I was on camera explaining this to you, good people. And I thought, well, that could look like a 666. But I think it's the F, really. The sixth letter of the alphabet, repeated 3 times. Again, no computation needs to be done, no addition, subtraction, division. Again, you think the devil would come along and just put the number 666 on the shit? No. Can't be that obvious. As stupid as he is, he's not that stupid. He knows what's taboo in this society. And if there's one thing that's taboo, it's the number 666. But fight, fight, fight works just fine. With F at the beginning of each word, the 6th letter of the alphabet. Again, this doesn't take a genius to figure. That's why I said it to myself. I literally said this out loud. I said, no, it can't be that simple, right? What number corresponds with the letter F? Well, A, B, C, D, E, F. 6th letter of the alphabet, repeated 3 times. And what does it say in Scripture again? You'll know the mark. It's the number of a man. And his number is 666. 666 Fifth Avenue. See, in Donnie's first term, he and Jared co-owned. Or co-leased or whatever the fuck it was. But then people caught on and it looked a little too obvious that this motherfucker was the Antichrist. So Donnie, unloaded his part and took his name away from the 666 building. But luckily for us, all your Pepe Frog idiots, we're all doing the 666 hand sign every 3 seconds. Donnie was doing it too in all his speeches. Same thing. He just didn't stand there and pose for a picture doing it. He would just do it during the speeches. But when the assassination attempt happened, and again, I just watched it today, fight, fight, fight. No, he was saying 6, 6, 6. Tribute to his master. That's really what he was saying. And I won't go back into the Israel coins or the King Cyrus comparisons, the literal on the coins that they're literally selling. There's a sect of Jews that look at Donnie as King Cyrus, the one who's going to get that temple built. That's what Cyrus did to them, allowed the Jews to go back to their homeland and rebuild their temple. That's what they look at Donnie as, that conduit to building the temple. This is real, people. Again, this isn't theory. This isn't a conspiracy. The coin is right fucking here and it's for sale. And I did a whole video about it a week ago. People believe this. And whether they believe in God or not, that's not the point. It's about the glory of Israel. And it's about Netanyahu being seen as, the savior. It's about Donnie being seen as the savior. Unfortunately, just like it says in the story, for a lot of Jewish people that think this person's a savior, he's really the Antichrist. That's how the story goes, unfortunately. Does it say every Jew's going to follow him and believe in him and think he's a savior? No, it doesn't say that. Some will, some already are, more of the right-wing Jews in Israel. And some of the religious leaders in the Jewish community think Donnie's King Cyrus, think Donnie's the guy that's going to help them get that temple built. And, conveniently, Gaza is rubble. Donnie can build his resort. Maybe we get a little bit of American military there just for good measure. Then they start building a temple. Who's going to stop them? The Muslim world? Who the only real weapons they have they buy from America. Nah, they won't stop it. Why? Because the Muslim world is aligned with Vlad. So's Donnie. So's Netanyahu. They're all aligned now. Who's going to stop this? No one. The United Arab Emirates has committed to investing $1.4 trillion in the U.S. following meetings with Donnie. The 10-year framework will target strategic sectors including AI, infrastructure, semiconductors, energy, blah, blah, blah. That's not the real goal. That first one, AI infrastructure. I was like, oh, so the United Arab Emirates is going to kick some big money on this AI infrastructure project. That's for Donnie. That's one of the top priorities. The Altman contract for $500 billion for AI infrastructure, that's Donnie's AI. And it looks like the United Arab Emirates are going to kick in major money. What the fuck are they building that requires this much money? I'm afraid to see what the finished product will be. It's going to be scary, man. And that's probably going to be the image, along with the crypto, with the 666 on it, just like the story says. Literally. I know you don't want to believe it. Doesn't fit into your life. I know you got to be at work at 10. I know. Unfortunately, it's coming anyway. I didn't want it to be true. I'm sorry it's true. I have no control over it. I'm just a lowly nothing stuck in this bullshit. And believe me, like I said in the beginning of this video, I would have much rather been alive at a time where this was not going to happen. Every other 5 minutes, I see a new post or headline from this AF fucking Post people about the Pope. 1 minute he's great, 1 minute he's dying, 1 minute he's great, 1 minute he's dying. What does that mean? That means he was never getting better. He never got better. They're just trying to put some good headlines out there to make you feel better. I told you a month ago, whatever, even maybe before that, what the Pope should have been doing, pointing out this evil that I know he recognizes if he's still in his right mind. But again, this evil started, what, 8 years ago, 10 years ago? I know he had his mind back then. And he wasn't saying jack shit about it. What it actually was, he wasn't naming it. And if it's no other person's job on this planet to name it, it was his. If he's any kind of real leader of the church, which he isn't. He said nothing. I gave him his warning. Next thing I know, he's in the hospital. I told him his staff is broken. Next thing I know, he's in the hospital. Well, here's the latest headline I saw. Pope Francis must relearn to speak after undergoing oxygen therapy. Relearn to speak, you say. No, he's done. He's not getting better. Forget about it. I told you he's never getting better. I told you this week's a month ago, whatever, month and a half ago. He's never getting better. It's over. His staff is broken. He's useless. He's worthless as a leader of the church. There's nothing left. He's done. And the final years, again, his final minutes that are so important. He's spending his time talking to Palestinians on the phone when he was still able to speak. Again, which is very noble and all that. But there was another issue that needed mentioning that he's not mentioning. And that's why he's done. Anyway, Remember all that hoopla about auto pen and Biden using auto pen and Biden not being mentally fit, so therefore the auto pen couldn't have been legitimate, right? Here's Donnie being asked about when he invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport people to the El Salvadoran death camps. Yeah, that's not an exaggeration. That's literally what happened. Trump downplayed his involvement in invoking the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan migrants, saying for the first time he hadn't signed the proclamation, even as he stood by it. I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it, he said Friday night. Other people handled it, but Marco Rubio has done a great job, and he wanted them out, and we go along with that. Trump did sign it, as you can see here, unless it was an auto pen. Exactly. Trump did sign it. When you go to the government websites, it shows Trump's signature. So either auto pen was used or dementia. He doesn't remember signing it. Isn't that again what all you people were just saying like a week ago about Joe Biden? Because you heard Donnie say it. It's the latest lie they thought up. The latest way. Because, they really want them pardons to go away so they can arrest Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney and Adam Schiff and, all those evil people that don't throw up Nazi salutes, that don't fire people en masse, that aren't trying to install a Nazi Satanist regime in your fucking face. I know those are the people you want arrested. Why? Because you're of Satan, that's why. So I don't know what's going on here. Donnie feels like he's in trouble, so he reverts back to his 5-year-old self, where he just denies it. Yeah, I didn't sign that. I mean, who am I, the fucking president or something? Oh yeah, but that Marco Rubio guy, he's a great guy, and he wanted them brown skins out, and so we did it. We went along with what little Marco wanted, and blah blah. Do you notice how quick he was to throw Marco's name in there? That's typical Donnie when he feels like he's going to get in trouble. You just saw it. He literally said, "Oh well, I didn't sign it. Some other people had Marco Rubio." Threw him right under the fucking bus. When we all know Donnie signed it or he auto-penned it. But he's scared. But you really have to ask, is it dementia or was it auto-pen? Because when it's Biden, it's dementia, right? So his auto-pens can't be legitimate. Well, Donnie's literally saying right here, I don't remember signing that shit. Fuck are you talking about? Throw Rubio in prison. Don't throw me in prison. This is a fine line they're really walking to. They're getting bold with their chest out, doing Satan's work. Tributes to Satan, all kinds of things. But then they get scared every 3 seconds, like they're afraid people are going to rise up and they're going to end up in prison. That probably will happen eventually. I don't know about the prison part. In other words, I don't know how their last moments on this earth are going to end up. I don't think they're going to end well, though. And then they have the lake to look forward to. So, yeah, if we can talk about Biden's auto pens being, not legitimate, here's Donnie literally saying he didn't sign it. Literally. Because he's worried he's going to go to prison. Trump revokes legal status for 530,000 Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. Okay, so those are all Latin peoples. So that's cool, right? Maggots out there. 530,000 people that were given a protected kind of status. Donnie just waves his hand and let's get rid of all these people. Because we can't round up enough people. We don't want to take them from like our businesses and stuff. So we need big numbers like this. So I'll just revoke status for a bunch of people and we'll just get rid of them. But here's the thing. In case you're wondering, the invitation is still out, still open for the white-skinned Nazis from South Africa to come here. as we're throwing these 530,000 people out. Now, I don't know what the difference is between the South African Nazis and the Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. Can you tell me what the difference is? Why they would only want the South African Nazis and not these other four groups of people? What reason could that be? I think you know. I'm almost done here. These two posts were next to each other today. I just found it interesting, and this is where it's going. I've started to realize that Anne Frank and her family wouldn't have been safe around a lot of the people I know and loved and once respected. That's not something you get over. Exactly, people. This is what I've been trying to say again for 10 years. So many people I've known and you've known, your friends, your neighbors, your family. You can't believe they're down with this, right? Even now. Or that they were ever down with it. It's kind of horrifying. It's kind of shocking. I've been going through this for the past 10 years. I knew where this was going 10 years ago. I knew who this person was 10 years ago, even though I didn't want to admit it to myself. I was hoping I was wrong. So as I watched friends of mine, acquaintances that I liked, just neighbors, reveal themselves. They saw what Donnie was saying and doing. He wasn't hiding it. Even back in 2015. They watched it all, and then they voted for it. And then this whole past 10 years, we've watched how many of our friends, neighbors, colleagues, acquaintances, spouses, whatever, marriages have ended over this. Why? Because good and evil is at stake here. That's why marriages ended over it. In other words, husbands were revealed to wives, wives were revealed to husbands, neighbors were revealed to us, friends were revealed to us. Yes, some people you actually cared about and liked or like are on team evil. And there ain't jack shit you can do about it. You can try and talk them out of it. You can try and preach to them, whatever the fuck, till you're blue in the face. Most likely it just won't work. Only when it comes to their doorstep in a seriously negative way will it have any impact. And even then, I still see rube after rube still on board after they've lost their job or whatever. My point is, just like this person has said, around some of our friends, colleagues, and neighbors that we loved and respected and liked, Anne Frank wouldn't have been fucking safe. That's a horrifying prospect, isn't it? It was for me all this time. Again, neighbors, friends, acquaintances, family, spouses in some case, revealed themselves, didn't they? And this post was right next to it. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I was only following orders was rejected as a defense at the Nuremberg trials. Indeed, guess where else that's going to get rejected? At the lake. And I know you don't think it's real, and it doesn't fit into your logical, calculated world, but it is real. And these people know it. I can tell by their desperation. They know there's a price for what they're doing. And they're going to pay it. Even they know it, deep down. So yeah, I was just following orders isn't going to work. I'm sorry. It was just business. It's not going to work. And, those of us that'll be in charge of throwing people in the lake, I guess we can just say before each one, it's just business, man. I'm just following orders. God says I got to do this. I'm sorry. Right? That's what you said to people throughout your life, right? So it shouldn't be a problem when you hear it, right? Right. In a stunning moment, Donald Trump tells reporters in the Oval Office that the New York Times is the enemy of the people. Wow, we've never heard that one before. I thought it was important to bring it up. Because in 2015, we just all kind of laughed it off. Now it takes a whole new tone, doesn't it? When Donnie says something's the enemy of the people. And this time, Maggie Haberman, with the Jewish last name, that Nazis really, they love Jews. Right, Mags? That saves the info for her books. Instead of reporting on it when it's relevant and could save some lives. He might really lock you up this time for two reasons. One, you're part of the press that he calls the enemy of the fucking people. Two, you have a Jewish last name. I hope the book sales were worth it. Your soul, I mean. So yeah, Mags, he might really lock you the fuck up this time. So I'd be careful. You might want to let the people at the New York Times know. Donnie for real this time. You'll see. And here's the end of the line. Leon post. Exactly. My son Xavier died. He was killed by the woke mind virus. Now the woke mind virus will die. Leon with such big talk. Isn't he amazing? In all his obese glory. I think he's talking about his transgender child, who he's once again in front of millions on the internet saying is dead. He's saying his child is dead. And then he throws the buzz phrase that the rubes love to hear, woke mind virus. Again, rubes, that doesn't exist. That's just something, a phrase that people like Leon, who think they're way smarter than you, and apparently they are, they throw at you and assign a value to it, and you just parrot it. There's no such thing as the woke mind virus. That doesn't exist. That's a propaganda term. But it's this part that really, besides the shit talking his own child on a website where he has, 300 million bot followers. Let's leave that aside. His usual scumbaggery. It's this part. It's when they give the game away. They give their intentions away. Now the woke mind virus will die. What does the woke mind virus really represent? A group of people. Let's be honest, what Leon's saying here. Gays, liberals, blacks, Latin people, women, disabled. That's who Leon's talking about here. Transgender. And what he means by when he says the woke mind virus will die, he means people will die. Those he finds undesirable. Why? Because Leon's a eugenicist Nazi. He did the Sieg Heil in front of all of us. And are some of you really going to sit here and say it wasn't a Sieg Heil? You can lie to yourself, son. You can't lie to us. And you can't lie to God. Even though your paycheck depends on it. What am I saying here? I'm saying what Leon really means by this post and what's going to happen. Yes, a lot of people are going to die, and it's going to be because of this cunt right here. Fat ass Leon scum. He won't do it himself, though. He'll have other people do it. He's setting the stage for it all the time with shit like this. Now the woke mind virus will die. He means all those groups I just described. That's who Leon wants to die. One more time, this is a Nazi movement. He did the Sieg Heil in front of everyone. What does that mean? That means no blacks, no Jews, no women, no, no disabled, no retarded. All perfectly fine to remove. No dissidents, no complainers, no liberals. Again, the first people Hitler locked up, liberals and socialists. Jews were later. Why? Because the liberals and socialists would have had a problem with the Jews being locked up. Just like today. They're the only voice for those people right now. You know, those people you hate, that you want to see locked up, they're the only things standing between your dumbass and full Nazi authoritarianism. And I know you think you'll end up on the right side of that, right? No one ends up on the right side of that. Just ask Germany where everyone ends up once Nazism rules their country. Talk to some old Germans that watched it all get burnt down, watched all the women get raped by Russian soldiers, etc. Ask them where Nazism takes you. Takes you to death. That's where it takes you. Yes, you too, the person cheering it the fuck on. Because they were all Nazis in Germany. And guess what happened to them when the Germans and Americans closed in? Wasn't good. Didn't matter how much of a believer they were either. Or not. So now the woke mind virus will die. Well, yes, a lot of people will die because of Leon and Donnie and because of this frog movement that I started talking about here tonight. One more time, I didn't bring it up. Leon brought it up with his frog Pepe Caesar. All of that has meaning. And the point of this fucking video is that white supremacist Nazi ideology and Pepe did not go away. The 666 hand sign did not go away, even though they're not showing it anymore. They were showing it when it mattered at the beginning of this. Cernovich, etc. That Israeli agenda to get rid of the Palestinians, I just read you the statement by the defense minister of Israel. Does that sound like that went away? Nope, that's top priority. Get the Palestinians out of there, build the resort with the Donnie statues, build the temple. And the building of the third temple, people, is not a good thing for the world. So the Israel agenda, the Israel-Gaza agenda, that didn't go nowhere. That's still front and center, even though they don't talk about it as much. Leon's white supremacist movement, Cernovich's white supremacist movement, etc., that didn't go any fucking where. Now it's in charge. The third component, which is of top priority, that AI, that contract, that Altman got. Those three things, the racism, the white supremacy, the Pepe, the 666, that didn't go anywhere. The digital currency coming to your doorstep that you're going to be forced to use, that didn't go anywhere. It's still right there at the forefront. And that AI, that image that they want to build, that's still right there at the forefront. Never mind the annexations of Greenland, Canada, etc. That's still at the forefront as well. They're still talking about it every day. Does any of that sound good to you? Don't sound good to me. It goes one place, the fucking lake, the abyss. It goes to death. So again, I ask the people out there, turn away before it's too motherfucking late. Get out of the cult while you still can. And none of these agendas have gone anywhere. They still right there. They didn't go away magically. They still going to come to full fruition, unfortunately for us. Until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.